Hey, what is up? This is Sasha, and here is our last episode of the season, Fourth and Wine. Today, we are going to be trying a Prosecco sparkling wine, and we're going to be talking about Super Bowl 59. And y'all know I had to bring along my favorite guest, Marquis, today. So keep listening. You are checking out Fourth and Wine. All right, what is up, Marquis? Thanks for joining me.
What's up, Saj? What's up, man? Happy to be here. Thanks for having me back again.
Yes. So today, let's start off, with our wine. Today we are going to be drinking a Prosecco because we got a lot to celebrate, So let's do a little sparkling wine.
Yes, we do.
So the Prosecco that we selected today, or that I selected today, is the Via Ray, and it is Issa Rae's, Prosecco. So she came out with this pretty cool bottle. It's very simple. It's got a 70s label on it. It's like 70s bubble letters on the front. Gold, brown, and it's Black History Month. We halfway through Black History Month.
Facts.
So let's try a Prosecco by a Black woman, okay?
Shout out to Issa.
Yes. So let's pop this and try and open it. Lord.
Probably did this before. Probably should have had this joint ready to go. It's all good. Do it in real time. Give it the effect.
Exactly.
Popping bottles.
Celebrate.
Can you get it? There you go.
Woo!
Popping bottles.
All right, so I'm back. Poured it. Look at it. It's bubbly. Lots of bubbles, obviously. Prosecco is a sparkling wine. It is from a region in Italy, Prosecco. This particular wine is from a designated, northern in Italy, Veneto. It's from that DOC region, which, if you've listened to other Fourth and Wine episodes, DOC areas, they specialize in making only one grape variety. They pretty much focus on that. There's rules, there's regulations in those areas for those grapes and grape varieties. But let's give it a smell. It smells like apples.
Yeah, crisp.
Mm-hmm. Crisp apples.
Crisp apples.
Ludicrous apples? Did you know
No.
they're actually like these ludicrous apples? No. And it's a straw color, very light, lots of bubbles, as I said. And let's taste it. Woo.
Okay, East.
Pretty good.
I like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's very, I know it's a sparkling wine, so it's going to have that carbonation, but it's smooth at the same time. Like, it's not super duper sweet, which I like.
I think it's it's not super sweet. No.
I mean, it's Prosecco, but I mean, you know how you get some of those, like, those dessert sparkling wines, and it tastes like you're drinking juice.
Yeah.
So to speak. This doesn't really have it. It's a nice balance.
That is true.
Issa did a thing with this one.
Yeah, and my mouth is like watering afterwards. Very airy. The acidity though, in any Prosecco, doesn't really matter. Any sparkling wine for me gets me right in my chest. I get the indigestion.
Got the indigestion. Yeah.
But no, this is really good. So shout out to Issa Rae, a Black woman. Happy Black History Month with her own Prosecco wine. Y'all should definitely go get this. It was like $17 to $20, I believe. It wasn't overly expensive.
Not bad at all. Total Wine, easy to find.
Very good.
So go pick up a bottle of this Via Ray Rewatch Insecure Seasons, and we still Team Lawrence over here, man.
Oh, are we? Okay. Anyway, though, so it does smell like green apples. It is, very lively. It kind of like bounces around, like dances in your mouth a little bit.
Hey.
And then also, it is recommended that you could pair this with Thai food, things like that. But also, she said if you, instead of using champagne to make French 75s, which I love and enjoy, you can use the Prosecco instead. Also, it's good to mix with tequila.
Okay.
So, like, she has some like specialty drinks that you can use to mix with, if you want to make like a harder alcoholic drink, you can mix this Prosecco with it, kind of smooth it out.
Insecure fans know if they watched Issa's favorite drink was Prosecco and tequila, low key. That was her bougie fancy drink.
Yeah.
So it makes sense why she would come out with a Prosecco that's versatile.
Look at you with the tidbits. I like that.
Shout out to Eastman. Shout out to Lawrence, man. Hope they're doing well.
But yeah. So let's get into what has been the best week.
We got a lot to talk. We got a lot to talk about, baby.
Yeah, I didn't put out a podcast last week, but the Eagles went to the Super Bowl, played the Chiefs in Super Bowl 59 on February 9th. It started at 6:30 p.m. if you did not watch it. But our Philadelphia Eagles
talk about it.
Are Super Bowl 59 champions.
Talk about it. Talk about it.
Talk about it. Let's really talk about it. The game was insane. So going into the game Sunday, I'll tell you how I felt a little bit. But going into the game on Sunday, was I nervous? For sure. I thought it was going to be a nail biter of a game. But, I thought it would be a good game. And I was confident we would still pull out the win. Granted, I was having dreams and nightmares. Okay, me. Yep. I was having so many dreams about the Super Bowl. I had dreams where we won the Super Bowl and I lost my engagement ring. I had dreams.
What's up with you and these dreams? All your dreams is always a lot going on, and it's always negative.
It's anxiety, I guess, manifesting in my sleep.
You lost the engagement ring in the dream.
Yes, I lost the engagement ring in the dream. I still got it though. We lost the Super Bowl in one of my dreams. It was a lot going on. So I started Googling why I was having these dreams. I said, why would I have a dream that my team lost the Super Bowl? And they were like, because you're feeling anxious if you're an Eagles fan. I said, not ChatGPT telling me if I'm an Eagles fan, this is probably why I'm stressed out. They knew. ChatGPT, they be lurking, but they knew. They was like, if you're an Eagles fan, you're probably really worried, but don't worry. And then like pretty much was trying to reassure me, like, you'll be fine. Anyway, but going into the game on Sunday, I definitely was nervous. I thought it was going to be a game, but it was the complete opposite. Let's start off. Our defense went in there and demolished that Chiefs offensive line and Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, I'll say going into the game, throughout the last week, you hear like the commentary, sports radio, ESPN, Fox. I try to tune all of that stuff out. As you know, we don't subscribe to those media outlets so much because they have so much of an agenda. But I did kind of have the idea of, if we do win this game, like it's going to be a close game. I couldn't see it being, or rather, no, the opposite. I thought to myself, if we do win this game, like we got to blow the Chiefs out. Like it can't be a close game because Patrick Mahomes has showed, or just the Kansas City Chiefs have shown, like when it's a close game, they normally win those. Like though they beat the Bills less than 5 points. The previous couple of games in the season, like Baltimore barely got by Baltimore, and Baltimore had their number. It's like they normally edge out those closer games. So I'm like, if we beat them, it has to be like we got to stomp them out.
Yeah. And we, in fact, did stomp
Facts.
them out.
Facts.
The score doesn't actually reflect that,
score
but
wasn't
it
real.
was still 40-22. And in the fourth quarter, our second string, Kenny Pickett, KP, came in, and a lot of our backups, our second string guys, get them some time and get them some playing time coming in. But watching this defense, and they didn't blitz at all, and that's what they've been saying all week long. Vic Fangio doesn't blitz often anyway. He hasn't done it a ton this season at all, and we didn't do it in the Super Bowl. And we still had Patrick Mahomes scrambling, which, all credit to Patrick Mahomes. I still think he is a great quarterback. He's going to go down as one of the best quarterbacks that this generation has ever seen. But he ain't look nothing like that on Sunday. They picked that man apart. Jalen Carter picked him apart. And shout out to Jordan Davis. I didn't think he had that dog in him. He's so nice. He be singing. He be on the admin singing with the little mini mics and stuff. My man said, do something. Say, yo, he was right at Jason Kelsey, Travis Kelsey during the game. He said, no, don't pick on me. Don't let the soft voice fool you.
Nah, Jordan Davis is all the 6'8". Like, that's a big. He's a big dude. He's a big dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. Like Patrick Mahomes, like just their offensive line just couldn't hold our D line. And like you said, like Vic Fangio's defense historically, he doesn't really blitz a lot. You don't really have to blitz a lot if you have a solid D line. Like your D line can get to the quarterback and create enough disruption where you can keep your linebackers where they're supposed to be. You can keep your DBs and your secondary where they're supposed to be, which is on the receiver. So start, from top to bottom, like the defense is cohesive. D line getting to the quarterback, clogging up the holes so he can't rush out the pocket. They couldn't get the run game going. And you got the linebackers covering tight end. Travis Kelsey, as we saw, couldn't get nothing. And in the secondary, Quinyon locking up, Slay locking up, Reed, Coop, CJ locking it up. So it's like when the defense plays the way they're supposed to play, you don't got to blitz. Blitzing is a result of you trying to create pressure because your line not getting it. But if the line is doing what they're supposed to be doing, you can keep everybody where they're supposed to be, which is on their own assignment. And like it created havoc the entire game for Patrick Mahomes. And
yeah, it did.
He was running around. He was forcing throws, putting the ball in harm's way and really honestly trying to play hero ball. And quarterbacks do that when nothing is working, when they just they throwing stuff at the wall hoping that it stick. And that's what he was doing. And we capitalized on that every time.
Yeah, because by the second half, they really needed some big plays. And we lost the coin toss, so they deferred to us, and then they were going to get the ball back after the half. But in the first half of that game, I think the Chiefs had 1 first down and only 23 yards. Like, they could not make it across the middle of the field.
Shut down. And another part, too, where it's like, people kind of skate over the fact, like going into the game, it was like, yeah, Eagles lose because, well, why? What's your explanation? I'm talking about like commentators and, analysts and stuff like that in the media. When people would say the Eagles will lose, okay, well, what's your rationale? Our defense is better. Our offense is better collectively, and we got Saquon, special teams, coaching. Aside from Andy, in terms of like, what's your rationale? It was always, well, the Chiefs had Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. Okay. This season historically is Patrick Mahomes' worst season stat-wise to date. I think he's thrown more interceptions this season than he did last season, and he's played reckless throughout the entire year. It's crazy they won as many games as they did. Like I said, them close games. Mm-hmm. And the refs saving them all the time in them close games to get them, it's a whole narrative out there in terms of the refs and the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes. But like, it was clear this season that Patrick Mahomes didn't have his best year. And then a lot of that showed, a lot of those bad habits that he exhibited throughout the season showed in Super Bowl when he was trying to play hero ball, make stuff happen.
Yeah. And a big thing with the Chiefs this season was their offensive line. They just were not good. Their left guard was having struggles this season. I think he got injured. It was a lot going on with that line on the Chiefs side. Now, speaking of offensive on the Chiefs side, let's talk about the Eagles offensively. MVP, Jalen Hurts.
Talk about it.
My guy, Jalen Hurts, has gone through the ringer throughout his entire career here, from being a backup to Carson Wentz. And we saw Carson Wentz in the Super Bowl just this past week. But being a backup to Carson Wentz, to having a horrible 2021 season. Like, there was just a lot of things, and people were saying, they don't think he's a guy. He can't get it done. A few people have said Jalen Hurts is a game manager. But
Cam Newton said that.
Yeah. But he plays lights out in every big moment. Like, even in the last Super Bowl where we played the Chiefs, was Super Bowl 57.
Outplayed Patrick Mahomes.
He outplayed Patrick Mahomes. And it does not matter what happens. Jalen Hurts stays even keel. And for a while, that was people's problem. He doesn't show any emotion. Bro, him not showing emotion, who cares? He stays calm. He doesn't. And there are moments I've watched him where I felt like he was forcing certain things. But overall, I'd say Jalen Hurts stays calm, cool, and collected. It doesn't matter. I would say it doesn't matter if he's down or not. But the Eagles haven't seen moments all season where they've been playing from a hole or a deficit.
Yeah. Because
they've had Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley. They've established a run game that people have said, oh, well, this team, they can't have a good run game because Nick Sirianni wants to throw the ball. Kellen Moore, he doesn't know how to have a good run game. But when you have a player like Saquon Barkley, the run game presents itself to you.
That boy Saquon, man, is different.
Yeah.
But like
this Super Bowl, though, unfortunately, I feel like the Chiefs threw all their eggs in one basket to stop Saquon Barkley, and then
got burnt.
Forgot that
we got two top receivers, we got a solid tight end, we got a solid O-line, and we got a quarterback that can run the ball and can pick you apart with his arm when he has time. And like going back to Jalen, like Jalen has, I think, for the better part of 4 years, has probably been the most criticized quarterback in the NFL.
Why do you think that is?
One, he plays for the Eagles.
Period. They don't like the fans. That's why they don't like the players.
One, he plays for the Eagles. And any quarterback that plays for the Eagles is under scrutiny by the media. Like, people don't like to talk about it, but there's an agenda nationally against Philadelphia, the Eagles, even when it comes to like the Sixers and the Flyers and the Phillies. But we're just going to focus on the Eagles today. Donovan McNabb got it. Carson Wentz got it. And now Jalen Hurts is getting it, in the sense of there's always just a dig at him. Like, Donovan McNabb is good, but he can't win the big games. Or Carson Wentz is good, but he's reckless with the ball. And all the while, all they do is ball out. Jalen Hurts is okay, but he's not really a starting quarterback. And his arm isn't really that good. And he's a game manager because he has all these great players. And when all my man does is go out there and win. It's cliche to say that all he does is win, but legit, if you look at his record, and we talked about it, his history, my man was a top prospect in high school, playing in Texas, one of the meccas of high school football, got a 4-ride to Alabama, which isn't easy, started at Alabama, got 2 national championships at Alabama under Nick Saban, went to Oklahoma, played under Lincoln Riley, who had Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray, and then got drafted and was a Heisman runner-up a few of those years in college, got drafted by the Eagles, backed up Carson Wentz. Like, he has pedigree.
Yeah.
And people don't talk about his pedigree of being in big games, playing well in big games, and winning. He played Patrick Mahomes 3 times. He outplayed him 3 times. What other quarterback in the league can say that? And Patrick Mahomes is everybody's savior and the next Tom Brady. Listen to any sports outlet, they're going to tell you just how good Patrick Mahomes is. Jalen outplayed that man 3 times in a row. So going to the Super Bowl, it's like you look at it on paper and you see, oh, his stat line isn't that crazy. You see all the weapons that he has around him. You see the supporting cast. It's everybody else that's getting him there. But no, like you just said, the Chiefs put all the eggs in one basket, and that was to stop Saquon. When they did that, okay, they were basically saying, yo, Saquon not going to beat us today. Jalen, it's your turn. You got to beat us.
And he did.
And what'd he do?
And did.
Sliced and diced.
And did.
Wheeling and dealing out there. Outside of one bad throw. You know what I mean? We're going to call a spade a spade. That was, that one pick that he threw. It was a blitz by Steve Spagnuolo.
And he didn't let it happen again, though.
And he corrected it. And that was the last time we saw that. But overall, sliced and diced.
Yeah. You put all your eggs in one basket to stop Saquon Barkley, and you forget we got A.J. Brown. You forget you got Devontae Smith. You forget about those other players. And, like, truthfully, which we haven't seen much all season, and I think that's just by design of the plays, but they haven't really focused on Jahan Dotson much. No. And he came up big in the Super Bowl, made some really big plays. He almost had a touchdown, which got called back.
Nutty.
But let's be real. Like, then you forget, okay, I could throw it to somebody else. Like, we can spread the ball around.
And it's like, I feel like the media, just overall, the idea of what a good quarterback has to be revisited. Like, what makes a quarterback good? What makes you a solid quarterback? Is it you can make all these crazy plays, or you put your team in the best position to win the game? And to me, this season, Jalen has done that every single game. Yeah, and he talked about it. People get mad because it doesn't look the way they want it to look. I didn't throw for 400 yards. I didn't throw 4 touchdowns and rush for 100 yards. Nah, I passed for maybe 175, 185. I ran the ball for like 65 yards, and I threw a touchdown. But I didn't turn the ball over. I protected the ball. I got us in key moments. I capitalized on the playmakers that we have, and I kept us in the game, and I kept the game out of reach of the other team. He's done that. He did that in the Super Bowl. So I think that has to be revisited. But also, like you said, and that game could have been, honestly, that score could have even been way crazier, because that first play to AJ, when they called that nutty offensive pass interference because they say he pushed off. I'm like, when do they never call that? And even Tom Brady on a broadcast said, yo, that's never a call. Why would they call that? So that game we could have had another 7 on top of that 40, man. So it's like, man, listen, man, put some respect on Jalen's name.
1,000%. And I think everybody, even Philadelphia fans included,
we ain't no better. We're going to be real. Yeah.
Hurts an apology. Nick Sirianni an apology. Because at the end of last season, people wanted Nick Sirianni gone.
And the season also this year didn't start out. It started out very reminiscent.
It did start out shaky, but let's be real. We've got 2 new coordinators, which Jalen has had a different offensive coordinator every single year because he wins. And then they get promoted and get jobs elsewhere. But we all panicked the first 4 games of the season. But how crazy does that sound in retrospect?
Now,
it was 2-2. And we were freaking out. Bro, 4 games? I get football is a week by week thing, and there's not too many games in the season. But to be in full blown panic, talking about whether Nick Sirianni or Jalen Hurts deserve to even be here after 4 games, 2 of which they won. 1 they lost. And to this day, I'll say it's because Saquon Barkley dropped the ball. I get you can't base the whole game on that. But if he caught the ball, we would have won. We would have beat the Falcons. And we lost to 2 teams that are like, you look back now, did they even make the playoffs? We lost to the Bucks.
Lost to Tampa Bay.
And they made it, but
and
not
we
far.
Lost to
the Falcons. Kirk Cousins, who got benched a few games later.
And is backing up the person they drafted in the first place. Like,
right. So
the
like
Falcons are
in
dumpster fire.
that's not even we're not going to talk about that. But in retrospect, like that brings me to my next point of Jalen Hurts. Do you think Jalen Hurts should be in the discussion of top 5, top 3 quarterback in the league right now?
Absolutely. Because what we basing it off? If we basing it off of winning, he's absolutely in that conversation. They love. I got in an argument. I was talking to some guys in a barbershop a couple of days ago, and I was getting a cut. One dude was in there. He was a Steelers fan. I'm like, bro, first of all, you live in Philly. How are you a Pittsburgh Steelers fan? But whatever. And you from Philly, but whatever. Cool. And everybody that everybody loves to talk about they best quarterbacks. It's Joe Burrow, it's Lamar, it's Patrick Mahomes, it's Justin Herbert. Josh Allen. We beat all of them. Like, with the exception of Justin Herbert. We didn't play the Chiefs. I mean, we didn't play the Chargers this year or last year. But last time I checked, we beat Lamar in Baltimore. We beat Joe Burrow. We just beat Patrick Mahomes. And we beat Josh Allen last year. And Jalen had that game-winning drive when they came up here and we beat them in the snow. So it's like, y'all top quarterbacks y'all love to praise, we 5-0 against.
Yeah.
So what's the criteria? Like, he's went out and he's beat them every time. So for that matter, Jalen should absolutely be in that discussion. Yeah. I think, and it's also, again, it's the reason why people have apprehension on putting him there is because it doesn't look the way they want it to look. He don't throw for a ton of yards like Josh Allen does, or he doesn't make these crazy plays that Patrick Mahomes does. When Patrick Mahomes is honestly sometimes just reckless and gets lucky, and the refs kind of bail him out a lot of times when it shouldn't happen. But whatever. And Lamar is an amazing quarterback, man. He does everything. Another MVP this year. Did he get MVP?
No, that was Josh
Allen got MVP. But Jalen is definitely in that conversation because he wins. My man has been to 2 Super Bowls now. He's only been in the league, 4 years? He's been to 2 Super Bowls already, won one. And the way our team is looking, we prime to go back. You know, it's no reason our window is still open. He can definitely, and he's still young.
Yeah. And Jalen Hurts is the only quarterback to lose a Super Bowl and go back. And then over the last 10 years, if we really want to look at who's made it to a Super Bowl, who's won a Super Bowl, the Eagles have been 3 times. Like, this organization, this franchise, and specifically Jalen Hurts for going back to his 2nd Super Bowl within the last 3 years and now winning one. Of the last 10 Super Bowls, Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes have pretty much demolished all the last of the 10 years. But no other quarterback, Josh Allen, like, I'm not taking anything away from them being great players, but Josh Allen, Lamar, Joe Burrow, none of them have been. Joe Burrow has been there, and he hasn't been back since.
Did you get to a chip?
And Joe Burrow had an outstanding season, and he didn't make the playoffs. Like, let's be realistic here. Jalen Hurts has made the playoffs. Him and Nick Sirianni have been to the playoffs every year.
So for that matter, they definitely need to be in that conversation.
And they need to be in the conversation of being a great coach and being a great quarterback. Now, and I'll say this about Nick Sirianni, and then I'm going to end it here, but he gets a lot of flack for not calling plays. I think he should get more praise, and I've been one of those people, but I think he should get more praise for the fact that he knows, okay, this is what I'm good at. I'm good at managing the overall game. I'm good at, calling the timeouts. I'm good at saying whether we should go for it or not. I'm good at saying, that's a good play. That's maybe not a good play. What else we got?
Yeah.
I'm good at being that guy.
A game manager.
And that is okay. That is okay.
Every coach don't need to be the offensive guru and this, that, and the third.
No.
And you got to know your strengths. And like you said, to Sirianni's credit, he figured out, I need to put people that specialize in these areas and let them take the lead on these. I'm good at managing the game. I'm good at managing game situations. like you just said, calling timeouts. When we going to go forward on fourth down? When we going to punt the ball versus kicking a field goal? Or when can I let them go forward? And like, he's getting those moments.
And he knows football. And I feel like people attribute the fact that he's not calling the plays to the fact that he doesn't know football. 9 times out of 10, every time I hear this man get on the radio, granted, he is not the most eloquent speaker, but like, who cares? Whatever.
It's Philly.
You
don't need to be eloquent.
But he knows football because he tends to go off on these tangents, talking about plays, talking about coverages, and
Flowers.
It's like, bro, what are we? You're talking to your fan base, and you're speaking as if we're in a, we're in a meeting room with you.
Right.
So he knows his stuff, and I think we just got to give him a little bit more grace,
definitely,
and credit, and myself included.
Yeah, and I'll add on to that. Like, I was also one of those people where I was just like, what does he do? Because it looked like last season, and and you got to also have grace for Eagles fans as well. Like, last season traumatized a lot of us, myself included. So the offense just didn't look good. It did not look good at all. And Sirianni, at least what we thought was Brian Johnson, it came out that it was actually Sirianni not wanting to give up the reins and him still wanting to have a presence and more say-so on the offense. So that's why he got a lot of that flack in terms of like, yo, you can't call plays, bro. You're not good at it. The offense looks horrible when you do so. So this season, it looked like in moments, and we talked about it a little bit on the podcast, a couple of episodes, when it was just like, yo, the scripted plays never go well. Like, the scripted plays that they have are the plays that they have practiced throughout the week that they know, yo, we're going to run these 5, 7 to 10 plays to start off the game. And it seems like Sirianni had a lot of say-so in those plays. But when they didn't work and they had to pivot and readjust, it seemed like Kellen Moore was more in charge of that process. So, but all that to say, man, Sirianni just putting his ego aside and letting the people that are better at those roles do what they need to do for the team's betterment. Shout out to him, man. Yeah. And it got us to a Super Bowl, and not only got us there, but it allowed us to get this win.
Yeah. So speaking of the coordinators, Kellen Moore got promoted and he will become the head coach of the New Orleans Saints, which, good for him. Congratulations, because clearly him being in Dallas wasn't working. I do think, it's going to be a struggle his first couple seasons there. I saw a post earlier that pretty much had the Saints right above the Giants for likelihood to win the Super Bowl. So, more power to him. But now this is yet another. This is another season where Jalen Hurts has to learn a new offense, get acclimated with a new offensive coordinator. But over the years, we've watched him do it again and again. And so that leads me to my next thing. So with Kellen Moore now being gone, people get promoted. Good things happen after you win the Super Bowl. People get paid, etc. But we got a few people on this team, a lot of dogs on this team that are unrestricted free agents next year.
Some of these dogs gotta get paid.
They do. They got to get paid. And right now, going into the 2025 season, Eagles have about $18 million in cap space, which is good for us because we've got, a lot of young players still on rookie contracts on defense, which is great for us. They, extended A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith already, so they're good. They're paid. They're set. Jalen Hurts' contract, Howie did an amazing job at structuring that so that the cap hit wasn't crazy. Each year.
Howie did his thing.
So Howie, being a businessman, I'm hoping that he figures it out. But here are a few of the players that made some big plays during the Super Bowl that won't be here.
Up for it, potentially won't be here.
Or potentially won't be here, or they just need to get paid, and how we all have to figure out how to do so. So Zach Bond, who had an interception in the Super Bowl,
balled out all year. Should have got Defensive Player of the Year, low key.
Came from the Saints, was playing back up there, came here, balled out all season, balled out. I think, and I feel confident that they will figure out a way to keep Zach Bond here, because also Vic Fangio likes Zach Bond. That's like one of his guys. He brought him here. So I'm hoping they figure out a way to keep Zach Bond. Mekhi Becton came from the Jets. Honestly, it was considered a bust before coming here.
Yeah.
And
just bad situation. He was just in a bad system, in a bad situation.
Yeah.
Given a solid coach and a good organization, my man arguably could have made the Pro Bowl. But yeah, I think just off of those two, I think both are Eagles next year.
Yeah.
Zach Bond made way too many plays. Our linebacker position historically has been a lot of throwing stuff at the wall, hoping that it sticks. And Zach Bond has come in and made impact immediately. Flies around the field, calls the defense, is the leader on that defense, makes every play, makes the unselfish play, and sets the tone from that linebacker position. One of the hardest positions on the defensive side of the field, aside from corner. And I think Becton is back. You can't draft that size. Like, you can't teach that size and that speed and that athleticism. So they figure out a way to keep both. And 18 mil isn't bad. Howie is a master with the cap. He'll figure out how to finesse that. We got a lot of draft picks as well, so we got that in the tuck.
Yeah, and there's probably a few guys that can't come back, so that'll also free up some space, and you'll be able to move some players around. Mm-hmm. But a couple other players that played in the Super Bowl and have made contributions to this team: Oren Burks, Kenny Gainwell,
Kenny G,
Fred Johnson, Rick Lovato, the snapper, Josh Sweat, who's a big one. Now, it wasn't looking too great for Josh Sweat in the beginning of the season, but maybe he just needed to get in a rhythm and he started to pick up some speed. When Josh Sweat got his contract, what was that, last year or 2 years ago, when they pretty much paid
Sweat over
Hassan Reddick, I was not feeling
nobody was
that at all, because Hassan Reddick, being from Temple, that's my guy, but he had an outstanding season, and to not get the money that I thought he deserved was crazy. It would have been nice to keep both of them, but they kept Josh Sweat, so he'll be an unrestricted free agent. Vontae Maddox, Milton Williams, Isaiah Rodgers.
Milton Williams is a big one.
And BG.
Yeah.
There's some other players as well, but if they had to go, I don't think if I mentioned their names, no one would know.
Yeah. I think just running off that list, who
needs to come back?
Who needs to come back? We need Bond back. Mm-hmm. We need Becton back. Mm-hmm. And Milton Williams has to come back.
Yep.
I think that we have a lot of depth on the D-line, to where as though I think that if you got in a situation where you got to pay one or the other, if you got to choose between Milton Williams or Josh Sweat, I think that Howie would rather pay the interior linemen. So I think Milton Williams would probably get re-signed versus Josh Sweat. And then we got Nolan coming up, finally making plays, coming into his own. We got Jalix Hunt.
Shout out to the young boys. Yep. Shout out to Nolan, Jalix.
We got Jalix coming up, finally starting to come into his own.
Trotter Jr.
We're talking about the DNs right now. But I think out of the two, I think that we need more depth at the defensive tackle position, and I think Howie probably will pay Milton before he paid Josh.
Okay.
But Avante probably gone. He didn't really get too much burn. He made a good play in the Super Bowl though. He got that pass deflection.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Avante Maddox comes back because they
Kenny G
waived him.
Probably might be a wrap for Kenny G.
Unfortunately, they waived They waived Devontae Maddox previously, and then he decided they worked out a contract, they restructured, and they were able to sign him back on. I think that organization just loves Devontae, you know what I mean? But he's getting, I guess, older in football terms, which is crazy to say. And he is pretty injury prone. He was benched this season for Cooper DeJean. So when those guys, you know, you got a rookie coming in, playing lights out, it doesn't seem feasible that Avonte Maddox comes back. I'm not sure what they're going to do with the tight end, Dallas Goedert.
They'll probably get Dallas.
I think you should re-sign Dallas Goedert, allow him, some extra time and start building that tight end room underneath of him. A lot of his veteran experience being in Super Bowls. I think he should come back. Also, I'm not sure where James Bradbury lands on this, but I definitely don't think he'll be here come June.
Nah, Bradbury probably be up out of here in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, because you brought in and nothing against Bradbury, because I really like Bradbury. I really like Bradbury, and I wish it had worked out differently for him, because he was an all-pro. I think last season was just an anomaly for a lot of those guys on defense, but I don't think he comes back. I was reading through a couple of articles that pretty much said if you extend Zach Bond, you extend Josh Sweat, you restructure Saquon, you can kind of find some money to sign on a couple of these guys. And if you extend Dallas, Josh Sweat, you allow their contracts over a few years so the cap hits aren't as much. I don't know too much about the business side of it, but it is pretty interesting to see. And I'm interested to see how he's going to do this coming March, this June, over the off season. And I also think Kenny Pickett is gone. Backup quarterbacks, especially with the Eagles, from my experience, they come for a year and it seems like a good thing, and then by the next year they gone. So
we don't need Kenny Pickett.
No.
To me, Tanner McKee is a better backup anyway. So they'd probably bump Tanner up to 2, and then they'll probably draft a quarterback, maybe, one of these good quarterbacks that plays, that's maybe a senior, is not a top pick, and grab a 6th or 7th round, 5th or 6th round, or undrafted free agent, something like that. But I think that there's also a part with these free agents where it's just like, yeah, you want the bag, but that comes at a price too, because you look at a couple years ago, we had Javon Hargrave. Javon wanted to get paid, and he wanted a bag, so he went to San Francisco. That didn't necessarily work out for Javon, did it?
It looked good initially.
Initially, yeah, it did look good, but overall, you have to look at the dynamic of the team and realize, if a team has a lot of money to throw at me, it probably means the team overall has a lot of holes, and this is a rebuild, and I'm kind of the catalyst to help start this rebuild. So I look at a player like Milton Williams, for example. Milton Williams, but he deserves a check, and he wants a check. And you have to look at a situation where it's just like, okay, where do I go? Yeah, this team is throwing money at me, but is this necessarily the best situation for me? Because I'm here in Philly. It's a winning environment. I just want to chip. I love my teammates. I love the city. Yeah, I might take a little bit of a pay cut, but I know the success that I want, I'm going to be able to continue here. Yeah. Versus, okay, yeah, I want this bread, but who wants to sign me? The Oakland Raiders just called me. Do I necessarily want to go to Oakland? Not Oakland now, Las Vegas. Or do I want Jacksonville? Yeah, they got money, but is that a good situation for me? So it all comes down. I feel like it has to be a little give and take. Yeah. But if somebody giving you money, like you gotta put yourself in the best position for your family. So,
do you think Darius Slay is back here next year?
I like Darius back on a 1-year deal. It's just gonna have to be if he's gonna be comfortable with that 1-year deal gonna look like, because he's not about to get top dollar for play 1 year. And a player like Darius Slay, that's used to getting that number one corner money, might gotta humble himself a little bit to take a little bit of a cut to be on the be in a situation again with the Eagles, but he might look at it also like, my time with Philly ended off on a good note. I had a lot of good years there, won a lot of games, got lifelong relationships. Let me get my last bag before I call this thing a wrap. So that might be a situation for him, and it might be a situation for Brad. I think Bradbury's out though, but I think that might be a situation for him though.
Yeah.
But would love to have Slade back if he came back another year.
Yeah. I mean, he's considered old, and I mean, if by the realms of old you mean
well all year,
we like the same age, but I just don't, I like, but I like Slay, and it would be nice to have him back. Those guys in that locker room seem to really respect him.
The young guys respect him, like Quinyon and
the
Cooper.
Young guys even respect Bradbury. They look up to them.
They look up to them because they give him game on the. They give them game on the technique wise and game management and how to be a pro. And being a rookie, like, you need that OG in the locker room that's not washed, but still at the top of their game and can give you game on how to be a better player. Because Quinyon and Cooper, they're going to beat them. They definitely going to beat them. And I think that's important to have in the locker room. Like, you need that leadership.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So it will be interesting to see what the next year brings, and what Howie does. Howie has been given a lot of praise. There have been moments where people wondered Howie going too, but Howie has been given a lot of praise over the last 2 years or so, 2 seasons. So I'm interested to see how that goes and who comes back to this team. But last but not least, I wanted to talk about a lot of the other people talking about us after the Super Bowl, and why are they talking about us? So there have been some comments from a few other players this season. We had Dak. Dak was talking about, him and the Dallas Cowboys are very close. And their time is up, and they're next on the list to make it to a Super Bowl and win. How are you feeling about Dak's comments saying he's close?
I love Dak, but Dak need to shut up. You need to stop talking, bro, because when have y'all ever been on the same level as the Eagles in terms of like when it actually matters? Dak can throw for 4,000 yards in a regular season. He can throw for 35 touchdowns. All of that goes out the window when it comes playoff time. Like, y'all have not produced ever. And there's no indication that y'all are going to produce ever, because you got CeeDee Lamb, you got Brandon Cooks, you got a solid line. Y'all had an okay running game. Y'all let Pollard lead. Pollard was your best running back, but whatever. An okay defense. In terms of like rosters, y'all should be better. And it's this cowboy mentality where they just expect and just entitled and feel like we just gonna be there just because. I just talking. Y'all sound crazy. Like, Jalen has been in the league half the amount of years that you have been. He's already been to 2 Super Bowls, won one, been in the playoffs every year. How many playoff wins does Dak have?
I think, 1, 2? I feel like in 2023 was his first playoff win, something like that.
We gotta check this. We gotta check that. But
let me look.
How many years has it been since the Dallas Cowboys have been to a Super Bowl?
Child.
I think
during my lifetime, but it's 1990,
95, 96, 97. Like, what are we talking about? Like, what are we talking about? Like, Jalen was in elementary school when the last time they went to a Super Bowl. My man has finished elementary school, finished middle school, finished high school, college, graduated, played in the year, and y'all still ain't get to a chip. Like, come on, Dak. I get what he's trying to say in the sense of, it's on us now. It's competitive as the NFC East. Stuff he's supposed to say, but don't say you're on the same level of us, bro. Yeah. Like, we're not going to do that, bro. Come on, man.
And realistically, so the Dallas Cowboys have the last time they were in the Super Bowl and had a Super Bowl appearance was when they beat the Pittsburgh Steelers at Super Bowl 30.
What year was that? 59.
We about to be on Super Bowl 60, bro.
30 years before y'all got a chip, bro.
Like, let's be realistic. I don't remember the time that a lot of people like to talk about the Cowboys. I was young.
It's a delusion.
And a lot of the
delusional.
players on the Cowboys, a lot of the people in that organization outside of Jerry Jones weren't there either. So, like, you don't have any pieces of winners on your team. So, specifically, though, let me see.
Emmitt Smith was on that team. Like, the Cowboys greats that was on those teams in the 90s that got all of them chips. Aikman, Emmitt, what's my man name? Michael Irvin. Like, if you started watching football today, you would just know them as analysts. You wouldn't know they played for the Cowboys in the 90s because that's how long it's been.
Yeah.
And even Emmitt Smith said, yo, he heard about Dak's comments and basically was like, yo, I don't know what he talking about, man. We have not produced. We have underperformed. Cowboys are just delusional. The owner's delusional. The players is delusional. And that's
because they are the biggest team in sports when it comes to marketing, money, what they bring to the NFL. People love the Dallas Cowboys. I don't know why, because they haven't won in so long.
It's the same thing with the Lakers. The Cowboys and Lakers fans is normally the same type of people.
Yeah, at least in Philly they are. But Dak specifically said, I feel like we compete with the Eagles and we beat them for the most part when we play them. And we were talking about this a little bit earlier, but I don't think Jalen Hurts and Dak have played more than 2 games against each other. Usually one or the other is always hurt.
Normally one's hurt. At least one's hurt.
At least one of them. And like this season. Yeah. So, like, let's be realistic here. You and your team haven't really played Jalen Hurts.
And normally they put the game so late in the season. Like the first time we played the Cowboys, normally like week 8, week 9. 10 when like we already didn't play 7 games, got banged up a little bit.
Yeah.
If they really want to check it up, play the Cowboys. Let's play the Cowboys week 2, week 3 and see where we fall. See how that go. Come on, man.
And then
Cowboys. Freaking Cowboys, bro. Go ahead, dog. Y'all crazy.
And then also our friend in Detroit, who I was rooting for that team. I low-key like them. I watched The Receiver on Netflix. Amon-Ra St. Brown. Him and his brother have a podcast. I'm not going to say that, but him and his brother have a podcast. And, pretty much he said, let our team be healthy. Let our defense be healthy. They did have a lot of injuries on defense. One of their main players, Aiden Hutchinson, went out and was done for the season. And he said that they had 13 of their starters on defense out. And, rightfully so. Yeah, we were healthy. The Eagles had a healthy season. But let's be real. I don't know. Check with your performance team. Check with your trainers. Maybe you need better people in that room. However, he talked about, the possibility of the Lions, Eagles, or
playing us the home opener,
or the Eagles, Commanders. Likely it'll be the Eagles, Commanders, because that'll be another NFC matchup. That'll be the rematch. That'll be more appealing from a marketing standpoint, because we didn't play the Lions at all this season. And they got the number 1 seed with the bye that got rest, got murdered by the Washington Commanders, who have a rookie quarterback.
Bro.
Like, that is insane. I get that the Lions had a lot of injuries, but let's be realistic about the Lions here. Jared Goff threw 3 interceptions. He threw 2 interceptions and a fumble. He turned the ball over 3 times, and he consistently does so.
And in that game.
Yes.
Just in that game.
And he has done so throughout the season. You lost that game because of Jared Goff. You didn't lose because of all your defensive players being out, because Jaden Daniels, I think that Washington offense is building, and there's something there with that offense. However, you lost because your quarterback gave the game away. They lost that game 45-31. 3 turnovers by Jared Goff. And if we look at there was 17 points, unanswered points that the Lions just had no rebut for, and that is because of the turnovers. Because after those turnovers, the Commanders took that opportunity and scored and made big plays. Like, you can't turn the ball over and expect to win a game. And the Lions honestly do and did all season because it had happened multiple times.
Bottom line, y'all lost to a rookie quarterback in a historically bad organization. At home. Off a bye. What are we still talking about? Y'all can hit us with, it would have been different if we had this, or would have been different if we had that.
Shoulda, coulda, woulda.
The bottom line is you lost to a rookie quarterback off a bye week at home. Like, there's no other discussion. If that was the Eagles, y'all wouldn't have no rap for us. I told you so. I told you the Eagles wasn't for real. I told you that they wasn't on it, or they wasn't who they thought they were. But it's like, come on, man. I get, as a player, you gotta have that competitive edge and be like, yo, let's line it up again. It'll be different. I get that. I've been there. But also, it's just like this. Look at the paper. You lost, bro, in the playoffs. Like, what are we can't talk about anything else. And now we're talking about the Lions had a successful season. When you talked about us losing our offensive coordinator.
They lost both of them.
You lost your offensive coordinator and your defensive coordinator. Brent, so you about to hire 2 new coordinators next season, and you think your offense and your defense is going to go as smoothly, that you think these games is about to be a walk in the park for y'all? It's not.
Yeah.
It's not.
And this season, they've got 25 unrestricted free agents. And of all of their unrestricted free agents, 7 of them are starters.
Good luck. Because that was us last season. And
7 of them are starters.
We had a new offensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator, a lot of miscommunication, team trying to find his way. That's what y'all about to go through next year. But you know what? I like Amon-Ra in terms of like his mentality. I like the way he plays. But it's after a Super Bowl, like just you gotta crawl before you walk, man.
Yeah.
I had to tell the Commanders fan a couple of days ago, you gotta crawl before you walk. Y'all get too high and mighty. You had a couple years of success. Playoffs is what matters, and we perform in the playoffs. So if you want to line it up, Detroit, y'all can come to Philly. We'll show you a good time. We'll get you a cheesesteak, and then you know,
and send you home.
And then send you back home, man.
And realistically, the Lions have been in big moments, and they didn't deliver. They haven't delivered. Went to an NFC Championship game, lost. Like there have been plenty of opportunities that Lions team should have capitalized off of, and unfortunately, like Jared Goff and all, but like he'll lose you the game quickly.
Jared Goff threw 5 picks in one game to Houston.
But they won though. They won.
But that's not my point. My point is that's your behavior. Like, you're reckless with the ball.
Yes.
You reckless. So in key moments where you got to protect the ball to keep your team in the game, you coughing up the ball, giving the opposition way too many opportunities to score. So had y'all made it to the playoffs, Jared Goff threw 3 picks. What happened? You lost the game. So what are we talking about, man?
All teams that have turned the ball over significantly throughout the playoffs were sent home.
Jalen had 1 turnover the whole playoffs.
And that was in the Super Bowl.
1.
And when you play a team like this Eagles defense and these young guys who are hungry, like, you can't give those opportunities. You throw 3 interceptions, we've got 3 touchdowns. Like,
come on, man. Coop ran that thing back.
Like, let's be real. CJ, GJ, Coop, they all over it.
Vaughn got a pick.
Vaughn. Like, let's be realistic here. You can't win when you turn the ball over as much as the Lions do. I don't care who you got on defense to stop who.
And you got a coach, and Detroit has a coach that's erratic. Like, that game I watched, remember that game last season? He kept going for it on 4th down.
Oh, well, that was the problem. That's why they lost in the NFC Championship.
He kept going for it on 4th down. When it's like, yo, kick the field goal, get the points, go to overtime. Like, you kept going for it as if you had any inclination that you was going to convert. And you didn't, and you lost to the 49ers, bro. Like, so It's levels. That's all I'm gonna say, man.
Yeah.
It's levels. Cowboys, it's levels, man.
So we'll see everyone next year, and I can't wait. With the new coordinator, offensive coordinator, another one. It'll be interesting to see how the Eagles perform, but I'm excited, and especially after a season where you win a Super Bowl, you get excited, and you're very gung ho on getting back. But over the last, few years, the only team that has gotten back consistently have been the Chiefs. But let's start a new dynasty here in Philadelphia.
Yeah, but I love the competition. I like the Detroit's better because the league is better when the NFC is better. I like the choice being, is coming into their own. We finally got the Commanders up and running now, and it look like it's going to be a good competition, with DC. Them games is going to be, honestly, them games is lit because DC has passionate fans. We got passionate fans, and it's a good vibe. When we went to the Commanders game last season, it was a good time. Mm-hmm. Commanders fans playing go-go music, man. They came over to our lot, had a good time. It's fun. It's good competition. You know what I mean? Detroit, good competition. But the Cowboys, y'all got a lot of work to do, man.
Yeah, the Cowboys, y'all are the same and always have been the same. And unfortunately, until something drastically changes in that organization, I don't see the Cowboys.
Jerry Jones.
That part. I don't see the Cowboys being, now you got to worry about the Commanders. You thought we were the only problem in the NFC East. Now you got to worry about the Commanders. Let's be realistic here. The Cowboys is getting harder and harder for you, and y'all haven't made any moves or any changes to your roster, to that staff. It's anything looking bleak.
And the crazy part about the Cowboys is, and we'll leave it at the Cowboys, but the crazy part about the Cowboys is they don't have a ton of playmakers on their team. But the ones that they do, they make it impossible for that player to be there. Why is Micah Parsons still not signed?
They did it to CD.
Why did it take all that time to re-sign CD Lamb, your best receiver, the only receiver you got? Why did it take that long to re-sign Dak? Why is it taking so long to give Micah his bread? He's your only playmaker you have on deep. He's a game-changing player and can alter the game just with one play. Why don't he got his bread yet? Jerry Jones playing this cat and mouse game and you pissing off your best players. That creates tension in the locker room where it's more drama happening because of that. All that's going to do is give any other team in the league that's a contender, I know Jerry Jones giving you the runaround, bro. Hey, I got this bread for you right now. What you want to do? I'm out. Now you left to find better pieces. Now you got to find somebody else to replace the production you got from Micah Parsons. You could have just re-signed him, gave him his bread. Howie would have already had that deal done. That deal would have been done last year.
And then if you take forever, now you got to pay them more because other players.
Now I'm taxing you.
Now I'm taxing.
Now I'm taxing you
because so and so, that receiver who hasn't produced half as much as me, is getting a check. So pay me.
Cam said that. Cam was talking about the quarterbacks with Brock Purdy contract. He said, "Oh, Josh Herbert got that bread. He didn't even get to a championship. He didn't make it far in the playoffs. He got that. Oh, y'all tripping. Y'all got to pay me." So Micah looking at it he just got X player just got this. He don't got as many Pro Bowls as I got. He don't got as many sacks as I got. He didn't make this play. He don't have it as many pressures. Oh, y'all tripping. Y'all got to pay me.
Oh, for sure.
And you made me
ask for it. Honestly, players should ask for whatever they think they reserve. Pay them all.
Pay that man. But Micah can come home. And like I said, but Micah want to come home, man. He from Harrisburg. Come on, bro. How he found some bread for it. We don't get Myles Garrett, man. You can come home, bro.
All right. Well.
All right.
Anyway, the parade was on Friday.
We're talking about the parade.
And that was a good time. Yeah, we'll quickly talk about the parade. It was a really good time. One thing I will say, Eagles fans get a lot of bad press for a lot of the things that we do. But one thing I'm going to tell you, so we were at the parade. I saw a few guys climbing on trees, climbing on statues. The cops didn't.
Cops was chill.
Yeah, they were chill. They weren't doing anything extreme. They intervened, but they were very much enjoying themselves, excited to be down there. And I think one thing about this city, if nothing else unites us, it's our sports teams.
The Eagles.
the Eagles
in particular.
Well, because they win. Yeah. But it is our sports teams. When good things are happening in this city, it is good vibes all around. And I hear about, the bad things and the bad areas, from burning things, from people getting shot, and God bless them. I'm praying for, their recovery, and I hope they are okay. But those people aren't true Philadelphians. Those people aren't true sports fans of Philadelphia, because I will say that I have never, ever been to any sporting event as a Philadelphia fan,
had a problem
and had an issue. People will help me more than anything, will invite me over, be like, hey, come enjoy with us. Like, let's have a good time here. I'm sharing my food with you. And will spark conversation. You meet different people. People will tell you about where they traveled from to come. Mm-hmm. And those are the real fans.
Yep, real fans.
Everyone else is just looking to start trouble. And those people, no matter what opportunity you place in front of them, they are coming to start trouble.
Exactly.
But real Eagles fans are here for a good time. This city could have whatever BS they got in the background, but when it comes to our sporting events, when it comes to being Eagles fans, we are a united front.
Facts.
Because one thing this city will do is protect everything about their sports culture and everything about their city. I don't know any true Philadelphia fans that will ever destroy their city. They just want to have a good time.
Or give people ammo to continue to talk about us. So it's like,
those people are children looking for, and like mentally, I'm calling them children.
Like anytime you, we saw it, like anytime you hear about anything negative about Philadelphia fans, or like you go to these events, tailgating or the parade, what have you, and you hear about incidents that go left, it's like you came here on that type time because it's a good day, everybody having a good time. Everybody saying, chanting the Eagles chant on the train ride up there, getting off the train. The cops is in a good mood. The cops was electric sliding when DJ Domicus was playing it.
They was dancing in
the street. Cops was moving and grooving. It's like if you come there and you hear and you still on, like you came there with that type of mentality, because you could have stayed home for that, bro. Like you mad at the world or whatever. You just on 10 for what? It's not the day for that. Those aren't Philadelphia fans. Those are somebody that is looking to make a bad day, make a good day bad because they having a bad day. So that's not what we about.
No.
We about anytime you go to a tailgate, if you go to an Eagles tailgate by real Philadelphia Eagles fans, like Sasha said, it's a good time. The plot next to you, y'all hungry? We got burgers. Y'all want a drink? We got shots, and it's vice versa. We take care of our own, man. Even in this crazy, even fans that even aren't Eagles fans will be at the tailgate sometimes, and they'll still be able to, enjoy it in the fun.
Yeah,
it's like it's a city of brotherly love for a reason, man.
And genuinely, like no one thinks about like who you are, where you came from, your background, like all those things in those moments. Yep. Go out the window.
Yeah, people got kids out there. Like
everyone's friends. We did a tailgate. Bro. We were friends and fraternizing with the people next to us.
Yep.
The people next to us held the spot. I was standing in a spot.
Yep.
They held the spot for me.
Tailgate was
like
tailgate for the birds and friends. Tailgate Volume 2 coming soon.
But yeah, we always have a good time. And that is point blank, period. I have never encountered angry, belligerent people that were actually true Eagles fans or true Philadelphia sports fans. And I'm going to leave it at that.
Yeah, but the parade was lit, man. The parade was lit. We got out there, 8 o'clock we got down there?
We got there a lot later than I wanted to get there. Yeah. I wanted to be out there all day and but.
We got a good spot. It was Valentine's Day. That was a good beginning of Valentine's Day, man. Like everybody was in a great mood. The vibes was vibing. The music was, Domicus was doing her thing with the music. The cops was chill. Everybody was just in a good mood. Like it was a good time. Like everybody was happy, just having a good time. The parade came down. Jalen, that backwards cane go on. Him and Shay Sean Barkley. You know what I mean? Like it was just a good time, man. Cooper DeJean. I mean, not Cooper DeJean. Reed had that. What he had?
Oh, he had the Cooper DeJean album cover. He walked by us and he had the Cooper DeJean album cover of Michael Jackson Thriller.
The Thriller album cover
Dallas
of Cooper DeJean's face
was trash.
Yo,
my man was two-stepping.
Goddard was cooked.
The people next to us, I don't know if he didn't shotgun the beer. He poured it. I don't know. The beer went everywhere. I don't know if he actually got any beer in his mouth, but he was having a good time.
Goddard was having. I
missed Q and Jalen Carter because
I saw Jalen.
Q was I saw them, but I didn't get them.
Too. Q
was lit because he honestly startled me. I wasn't expecting him and the entire defense to walk by us. But Q was skipping, hopping, and dancing next to us. I said, "This man, I have never seen
having a good time.
He ain't never had a reaction all season, but he was having a great time." Saw Josh Sweat in his fur coat.
Josh was definitely the fur out there.
Yep. We saw CJ. CJ.
Tell you, man, I love our guys, man. Like we really got a good team. They really like good dudes and just happy. They
having a good time.
They love each other, man. It's
especially
like,
their defense.
And it's just like, yo, how can you hate on the Eagles? We a solid team. We're humble. We stick to ourselves until you say something about us. Like we got that level. But like, for what? You know what I mean?
Even the players will come right at you. The players turn into us, honestly.
Because they
the players turn into the fans. They take on our passion.
They take it on.
Like watching Landon Dickerson go crazy.
We ain't doing that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We saw Jake Elliott. We saw Braden Mann.
Yep.
Jake Elliott and Braden, they was hanging out together.
When we had folks up, I seen a video when they had got out up South Philly around like Moore Street, Broad, and
when he kicked the field.
It was it was by the Popeyes on South Broad. And
so near my mom.
Yeah, Sayshawn was out there, and Sayshawn took a bottle of Henny and took it to the neck.
Oh,
Sayshawn was out there doing shots and Henny, having a good time, man. Like it's like, bro. It was like overall, it was a good day, and I'm shout out to everybody that was at the parade. That had a good time. That was safe, and just brought good vibes, man. That was our first tailgate. That was I didn't go to the one in 2018.
No, because I had to work, and I'm blaming my old manager for making me work.
Yeah, we both worked the same job too.
I've been saying all year. I said, "Yo, we go to the Super Bowl. Just know I will not be at work."
Facts.
And everyone was actually shocked that I came to work the day after the Super Bowl. I was late.
Yeah,
late. But they was like, oh, yeah, because I don't know what that means.
Right.
But anyway, they were like, my lead texted me and was like, dang, I'm surprised you getting work today. I didn't expect you to be at work. I said, I could get up. I wasn't like trashed or hungover or anything. I'm going to get up, come to work. I said, but when that parade happens, do not expect to see me here. I don't care what is going on. I don't care what happens with the business. Please figure it out with Sasha because I won't be around.
Right. And
I was not around. I had a great time. So shout out to my team for letting me have off and not bothering me one bit.
Shout out to Grand Cormino for paying for the
train.
For everybody.
Kevin.
Shout out to Kevin Hart, man.
But
making sure everybody got down there safe.
But
for the free.
The Eagles are yet again Super Bowl champions.
World champs.
We got 2 rings now, okay? And I am so...
You got a ring right there.
Well, yeah, I have a ring right here.
Show that thing.
But we are Super Bowl champions yet again. And I'll let y'all know I'm going to be insufferable.
Yeah, we're going to ride this train.
Season
we're gonna ride this train
long. I don't care.
So dang, this is the last episode for
this the last episode of 4th and Wine for some time. Next season will come bigger, will come better, and I am going to make sure I figure out how to do the techie stuff and get more people involved and get more people on the show. I'm excited for next season.
Bigger and better next year. Man.
I am manifesting growth with this.
Absolutely.
And I'm praying that God leads me wherever he thinks is best for me, but I'm hoping that is success and that great things are to come, especially next year.
Bottom line, stay tuned. 4th and Wine, bigger and better.
Let's go! Woo, okay. Amen.
Peace.
Bye.